They told me I was wasting my life chasing something no one else believed in, but what if the thing they dismissed was the very thing that would change everything? I never thought I'd see the day when my name, Maya Hart, would flash across the silver screen at a Hollywood award ceremony. But here I am, standing under the spotlight, holding a golden trophy for best visual effects in a sci-fi film. It's surreal, honestly. Growing up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, my idea of success was just making it through another week without my mom yelling at me or my sister Elena disappearing for days on end. Back then, all I had was a sketchpad and a dream, to create worlds that were better than the one I lived in. Now, years later, I've built a life most people only fantasize about. A cozy apartment in Los Angeles with my best friend Sophie Kim, a boyfriend who actually listens to me, shocking, right? And a career that lets me turn imagination into reality. But as I look out at the crowd tonight, clinking glasses and cheering my name, I can't shake the feeling that something, or someone, is missing. That feeling hits harder than usual when I get home late that night. My phone buzzes on the kitchen counter, lighting up the dark room like a tiny beacon. At first, I think it's Liam texting me congratulations. He's sweet like that. But when I pick it up, my stomach drops. There's an email from an unknown sender with the subject line, "Remember me?" Attached is a photo I haven't seen in over 15 years. It's me and Elena, grinning ear to ear at some carnival back in Albuquerque. We're holding cotton candy, our faces smeared with sticky pink sugar. My hands tremble as I zoom in on her face. She looks so young, so happy, not like the angry teenager who slammed the door behind her one night and never came back. For a moment, I feel 10 years old again, standing in the doorway of our trailer, calling her name into the empty desert air. Who sent this? And why now? The next morning, I wake up groggy but smiling because Liam surprises me with tickets to Paris for our anniversary. He knows how much I love art museums and croissants, and honestly, the thought of escaping LA for a while sounds perfect. But even as he wraps his arms around me, whispering plans about strolling along the Seine, my mind keeps drifting back to that email. Why would anyone send me that picture after all these years? It feels like a ghost reaching out from the past, reminding me of everything I've tried to forget. Still, I push the thought aside. Today is supposed to be about celebrating, not dwelling on things I can't change. Later that afternoon, Sophie comes over with takeout and wine, ready to toast my big win. She teases me about being too much of a perfectionist, telling me to enjoy the moment instead of stressing about the next project deadline. "You're allowed to relax, Maya," she says, handing me a glass of red wine. "You've earned it." And maybe she's right. On paper, my life looks amazing, a thriving career, supportive friends, a loving partner. But deep down, there's this ache I can't quite explain. Like no matter how far I run or how high I climb, part of me will always be stuck in that dusty little town, waiting for someone who never came back. By the time Friday rolls around, I'm practically vibrating with anxiety. That email hasn't left my mind for more than 5 minutes since I opened it. Every notification makes my heart race, wondering if it's another message from whoever sent it. Finally, I decide to reply, typing out a curt response asking who they are and what they want. Then I hit send before I lose my nerve. Hours pass, and just when I start thinking maybe it was nothing, just some random spam, I get a reply. "It's Elena," it says simply. Just 2 words, but they hit me like a punch to the gut. Elena, my sister, the one person I swore I'd never let back into my life. For a second, I considered deleting the email and pretending I never saw it. But curiosity gets the better of me, and I find myself staring at the screen, reading her words over and over. She wants to meet, says she needs to talk. Part of me wants to scream at her, to tell her she lost the right to talk to me years ago. But another part, the part that still remembers those late-night conversations in our bunk beds, giggling about boys and dreams, wonders if maybe she's changed. Maybe she has a reason for reaching out now. Or maybe she's just desperate. Either way, I know ignoring her won't make her go away. Reluctantly, I agree to meet her at a cafe downtown, hoping against hope that this isn't a mistake. Walking into that cafe feels like stepping into a time machine. I spot her immediately, sitting by the window, looking older but somehow smaller than I remember. Her hair is shorter now, streaked with gray, and there are lines around her eyes that weren't there before. For a moment, I almost don't recognize her. Then she looks up and sees me, and suddenly it's like we're kids again, staring at each other across the living room after one of Mom's drunken rages. Except this time, there's no yelling, just silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. "Thanks for coming," she says finally, her voice softer than I expected. I nod stiffly, sliding into the seat across from her. She starts talking fast, like she's afraid I'll leave if she doesn't say everything at once. She tells me about her life, or what's left of it, how she bounced from job to job, relationship to relationship, never staying anywhere long enough to put down roots. How she ended up broke and alone, drowning in debt. And then she drops the bombshell. She needs money. A lot of it. At first, I think she's joking. But the desperation in her eyes tells me she's dead serious. When I refuse, she lashes out, accusing me of forgetting where I came from, of abandoning her just like everyone else did. The words sting more than I care to admit, but I hold my ground. I didn't work this hard to let her drag me back into the mess she created. Elena's words hang in the air like smoke after a fire, thick, choking, and impossible to ignore. "You think you're better than me now, don't you?" she snaps, her voice rising above the hum of coffee machines and idle chatter in the cafe. Her hands tremble as she grips her mug, knuckles white against the ceramic. "All your fancy awards and Hollywood parties, you forgot where you came from, Maya. You forgot about us." I feel my jaw tighten, anger bubbling up inside me like boiling water. "Forgot about us?" I echo, my voice low but sharp enough to cut glass. "Elena, you left. You walked out when I was 10 years old. Do you even realize what that did to me? To Mom." The mention of Mom makes her flinch, and for a split second, I see guilt flicker across her face. But it's gone as quickly as it appears, replaced by something colder. She leans forward, lowering her voice. "Mom's dead," she says flatly. My heart stops. Dead. How could I not know this? I stare at her, searching for any sign that she's lying, but there's none. Just sadness buried deep beneath layers of bitterness. "She passed last year," Elena continues, her tone softer now. "Alone. No one there." Each word feels like a punch to the gut. I want to scream, to cry, to demand why no one told me. But instead, I sit frozen, trying to process the weight of what she's saying. And then she drops another bombshell. "It's your fault, Maya. If you'd been there." Her accusation hits me like a freight train, leaving me breathless and disoriented. "My fault." I manage to choke out, my voice barely audible over the pounding in my ears. "How is it my fault? You were the one who disappeared. You left me to deal with everything." Elena doesn't answer directly. Instead, she pulls out her phone and scrolls through photos, shoving the screen in my face. They're pictures of artwork, sketches and paintings I made when I was younger. Pieces I thought were lost forever. "You remember these, right?" she asks, her lips curling into a smirk that sends chills down my spine. Before I can respond, she leans in closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "People might be interested to know where you really got your talent from. Or how much of your success is actually yours." My blood runs cold. Is she threatening me? Using my own past against me? I feel like I'm drowning, the walls of the cafe closing in around me. This isn't just about money anymore. It's about control, revenge, destruction. When I get home later that night, I can't stop shaking. I pour myself a glass of wine, or maybe two, and try to calm down, but my mind won't let me rest. What if she goes public with those sketches? What if people start questioning whether I earned my success or stole it? The thought alone makes me nauseous. Sophie notices immediately when she comes over the next day, dragging me into the kitchen for an interrogation. "What's going on with you?" she demands, crossing her arms. Normally, I'd brush her off, tell her it's nothing. But this time I break. I spill everything, the email, the meeting, Elena's threats. By the time I finish, tears are streaming down my face. Sophie hugs me tightly, promising to help me figure things out. But even her reassurance can't quiet the storm brewing in my chest. Because deep down, I know this is only the beginning. The rumors start spreading faster than wildfire. One day, I'm basking in the glow of my award win. The next, whispers follow me wherever I go. At first, they're subtle. A snide comment here, a skeptical glance there. But soon, Entire threads pop up online dissecting my career, questioning whether I truly created the work I'm credited for. Jake Monroe, a former collaborator I trusted implicitly, leaks confidential concept art to Elena, hoping to curry favor with her alleged connections. When I confront him, he shrugs it off like it's no big deal. "It's just business, Maya," he says casually, as if betraying someone's trust is perfectly normal. His nonchalance infuriates me more than anything else. How could he do this to me? After everything we've built together? Liam tries to stay supportive, but I can see the doubt creeping into his eyes too. He doesn't say it outright, but I know he's wondering how much of this mess is true. The uncertainty eats away at me, gnawing at my confidence until I'm not sure who I am anymore. Am I still the girl who dreamed of creating worlds? Or am I the fraud everyone seems to think I am? Sophie urges me to fight back legally, but the idea terrifies me. What if they dig deeper and find skeletons I didn't even know existed? What if the scandal ruins everything I've worked so hard to build? For the first time in years, I feel completely powerless. And worst of all, I have no one to blame but myself, or so it seems. Desperate for answers, and desperate to protect myself, I hire Diana Alvarez, a sharp-tongued entertainment lawyer known for taking down bullies twice her size. She listens intently as I explain the situation, her dark eyes narrowing behind her glasses. "This isn't just about money," she says finally, tapping her pen against the desk. "Your sister's trying to destroy you emotionally. We need to hit back harder." With her guidance, I start gathering evidence to prove my innocence. Old sketchbooks, emails documenting collaborations, testimonials from colleagues. But every step forward feels like 2 steps back. Rumors spread faster than facts, and before long, even industry friends start giving me side-eye. Diana warns me not to engage publicly, not yet, but staying silent feels unbearable. Every article, every tweet feels like a dagger aimed straight at my heart. One particularly scathing piece accuses me of exploiting family trauma for artistic gain. "Maya Hart, Genius or Fraud," reads the headline, accompanied by a photo of me looking smug at the award ceremony. I crumple the magazine in frustration, hurling it across the room. Liam picks it up gently, smoothing out the pages. "Don't let them define you," he says softly. But how can I not? These aren't just strangers attacking me. They're peers, colleagues, people whose opinions matter, people whose respect I've spent years earning. As the legal battle drags on, I feel myself slipping further away from the person I used to be. And I don't know how to claw my way back. The legal fees pile up faster than I can count, and suddenly money, a thing I've never had to worry about in years, becomes a glaring issue. My dream project, Eclipsing Shadows, sits untouched on my hard drive, gathering digital dust. It's a passion piece I've been working on for months, inspired by my own journey of resilience and creativity. But now, faced with mounting bills and the looming threat of Elena's smear campaign, I start questioning whether it's worth pursuing at all. Sophie finds me one evening staring blankly at my laptop screen, the project files minimized behind tabs of bank statements and lawyer emails. "You can't give this up," she says firmly, pulling up a chair beside me. "This is your soul, Maya. Don't let her take that away from you, too." Her words hit home, but they don't make the decision any easier. Postponing Eclipsing Shadows feels like admitting defeat, like letting Elena win. Still, reality has a way of grounding even the most stubborn dreams. Liam offers to help cover some of the costs, but I refuse. I won't drag him into this mess, not when it's already consuming me whole. Instead, I call Diana and ask her to prioritize destroying Elena's credibility over protecting mine. If I'm going down, I want to take her lies with me. That night, as I lie awake staring at the ceiling, I realize something painful. Sometimes, the hardest sacrifices aren't about losing material things. It's about letting go of parts of yourself to survive. Just when I think I'm completely alone in this fight, an unexpected ally emerges, Dr. Henry Park, my college professor and mentor. He reaches out after reading one of the nastier articles about me, offering his support without hesitation. "Maya, I know who you are," he says during our phone call, his voice warm and steady. "And so do your old classmates." Over the next few days, alumni from my program flood social media with messages defending my work, sharing stories of how I helped them during group projects or inspired them with my dedication. Their solidarity brings tears to my eyes, reminding me that not everyone believes the worst of me. But not all allies come willingly. Jake Monroe, the traitorous collaborator, tries to backtrack when he realizes how badly the scandal is affecting his own reputation. He shows up at my apartment unannounced, stammering apologies and promising to testify on my behalf if I agree to drop charges against him. I stare at him, incredulous. Does he really think I'd forgive him that easily? Get out, I say coldly, pointing toward the door. As he slinks away, shamefaced, I feel a flicker of satisfaction, but it's short-lived. Because while Jake may have backed down, Elena hasn't. She's still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for her next move. It happens during a high-profile pitch meeting, the kind where producers nod enthusiastically and executives scribble notes like their lives depend on it. I'm presenting a new concept for a sci-fi series, pouring every ounce of energy I have into selling the vision. But halfway through, my voice cracks. My hands tremble so violently that the remote slips from my grasp, clattering to the floor. The room falls silent, dozens of eyes fixed on me, judgmental and unrelenting. Panic surges through my veins like wildfire. I mumble an excuse about needing water and bolt out of the room, tears streaming down my face before I even reach the hallway. Sophie finds me later that evening, curled up on the couch with a blanket wrapped tightly around me. She doesn't say anything at first, just sits beside me and rubs my back until the sobs subside. When I finally speak, my voice is hoarse and broken. I can't keep doing this, I whisper. I can't keep pretending everything's okay when it's not. Sophie looks at me, her expression soft but firm. Then stop pretending, she says. You're allowed to fall apart, Maya. You're allowed to ask for help. But if you keep pushing people away, you'll lose us too. Her words pierce through the fog of exhaustion and fear, forcing me to confront the truth. I can't do this alone anymore. The showdown happens at our childhood home, or what's left of it. The trailer park where we grew up has been torn down, replaced by cookie-cutter condos that look eerily similar to each other. But the empty lot where our trailer once stood still holds memories sharp enough to cut. Elena waits for me there, leaning against her beat-up car with a cigarette dangling from her lips. For a moment, neither of us speaks. We just stand there, staring at the patch of dirt that used to be our world. You really think you're better than me, don't you? Elena sneers, breaking the silence. Her tone is laced with venom, but her eyes betray a flicker of vulnerability. I step closer, my fists clenched at my sides. Better than you? No, Elena. I don't think I'm better than anyone. But I worked for this life. I earned it. And you're trying to tear it all down because you're jealous. Her laugh is bitter, hollow. Jealous? Of what? Your fake friends? Your perfect little boyfriend? Your shiny Hollywood career? She takes a drag from her cigarette, exhaling smoke like a dragon breathing fire. None of it means anything, Maya. Not without family. Her words sting, but I refuse to let them break me. Family! I shoot back, my voice rising. You haven't been my family in 20 years. Stop pretending you care now. Elena's face twists into a scowl, and for a moment, I think she might lunge at me. But instead, she flicks her cigarette onto the ground and stomps it out with more force than necessary. You don't get it, do you? She snaps, her voice trembling with barely contained rage. I'm not the villain here, Maya. You are. You left us behind the second you got famous. You didn't even come to Mom's funeral. Her words hit like a punch to the gut, but this time I don't flinch. I've spent too many years carrying the weight of her accusations, letting them define me. Not anymore. I didn't know about Mom's funeral because no one told me, I say, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. And as for leaving you behind, you were the one who walked out on me when I was 10 years old. Don't you dare try to twist this around and make it my fault. Elena opens her mouth to retort, but I cut her off before she can speak. You want to play the victim? Fine. But your lies won't work anymore. Diana's already uncovered everything. Your fake connections, the stolen artwork, the blackmail scheme. You're done, Elena. This ends now. For the first time, I see genuine fear flicker across her face. She knows she's been caught, and it's written all over her expression. The tables have turned, and for once, I'm the one holding all the cards. The next few days pass in a blur of legal motions and media updates. With Diana's help, we release a carefully crafted statement exposing Elena's manipulations and clearing my name. The public backlash against her is swift and brutal. Within hours, hashtags like #JusticeForMaya trend across social media platforms. It's vindicating, sure, but it doesn't feel as satisfying as I thought it would. Instead, I find myself haunted by memories of a sister I used to know, the one who braided my hair before school and promised to protect me from the world. That girl feels impossibly far away now, buried beneath layers of bitterness and resentment. One evening, as I sit alone in my apartment staring at an old photo of us, my phone buzzes with an incoming call. It's Elena! My finger hovers over the decline button, but something stops me. Against my better judgment, I answer. What do you want? I ask, my tone guarded. There's a long pause on the other end, and when she finally speaks, her voice is soft, almost unrecognizable. I'm sorry, Maya, she says quietly, for everything. Her apology catches me off guard, stirring up emotions I've tried so hard to bury. Part of me wants to lash out, to tell her she doesn't deserve forgiveness. But another part, a smaller, quieter part, wonders if maybe redemption is possible, even after all these years. The court ruling comes down faster than expected. Elena is ordered to pay restitution for damages caused, though we both know she doesn't have the money. More importantly, the judge issues a restraining order preventing her from contacting me or spreading further falsehoods about my career. As Diana reads through the verdict with a satisfied grin, I feel a wave of relief wash over me, but it's tinged with sadness. This victory feels hollow somehow, like winning a battle but losing the war. Afterward, Liam takes me out for dinner to celebrate, but I can't muster much enthusiasm. It's over, he says gently, squeezing my hand across the table. You did it, Maya. You stood up for yourself. I nod, forcing a smile, but inside, I'm still grappling with the wreckage of my past. That night, I dream about our childhood home, not the dilapidated trailer, but the version I created in my mind as a kid. In this dream, it's bright and colorful, filled with laughter and warmth. Elena and I are sitting on the porch, sharing a bowl of popcorn while the sun sets in hues of orange and pink. When I wake up, tears streaming down my face, I realize something important. Forgiveness isn't about excusing someone's actions. It's about freeing yourself from their hold. And maybe, just maybe, that's the first step toward healing. A week later, I visit Albuquerque for the first time in years. The cemetery where my mother is buried sits on a hill overlooking the city, its rows of headstones stark against the arid landscape. I kneel beside her grave, tracing the engraved letters of her name with trembling fingers. Why didn't you tell me? I whisper, my voice cracking under the weight of unanswered questions. Tears stream down my face as I pour out everything I've kept bottled up for so long, the loneliness, the anger, the guilt. For a moment, I imagine her responding, offering the comfort she never could in life. But the silence remains unbroken, save for the rustling of dry leaves in the wind. When I leave the cemetery, I head to a local youth center where kids gather after school to learn art and music. Inspired by my own journey, I offer to teach a free workshop on visual storytelling. At first, they're hesitant, unsure what to make of a stranger who shows up claiming to be an award-winning artist. But as we dive into exercises and share stories, I see glimpses of the same passion that once drove me, a hunger to create, to escape, to heal. Teaching them feels like planting seeds in fertile soil, knowing they'll grow into something beautiful long after I'm gone. For the first time in weeks, I feel a sense of purpose that isn't tied to awards or accolades. This is why I started creating in the first place, to connect, to inspire, to build bridges where none existed before. Back in Los Angeles, I dust off the files for eclipsing shadows and open them for the first time in months. The story, a tale of two siblings separated by tragedy but reunited through shared dreams, feels more personal now than ever. As I revise the script, I channel every emotion I've experienced over the past year, the pain of betrayal, the joy of vindication, the bittersweet ache of forgiveness. Sophie stops by one afternoon to check on my progress and finds me sketching furiously at my desk. "You look alive again," she remarks approvingly, flopping onto the couch with a bag of chips. I laugh, realizing she's right. For the first time in what feels like forever, I feel like myself again, or at least, a stronger, wiser version of myself. That night, As I lie in bed replaying scenes from the project in my head, Liam rolls over and wraps his arms around me. "You okay?" he murmurs sleepily. I nod, resting my head against his chest. "Yeah," I reply softly. "I think I am. And for the first time in a long time, I mean it. Whatever challenges lie ahead, I know I'll face them head-on, not as the scared little girl who lost her family, but as the woman who rebuilt herself piece by piece." The next morning, I wake up determined to reclaim not just my career but the relationships that matter most. I start with Sophie, who's been my rock through all of this. Over breakfast at our favorite cafe, I apologize for shutting her out during the worst of it. "I should have leaned on you more," I admit, stirring sugar into my coffee. She waves me off with a grin. "You're allowed to be human, Maya. Just don't do it again." Her easy forgiveness makes me realize how lucky I am to have someone like her in my corner. Later that day, I call Liam and ask him to meet me at Griffith Park. We walk along the trails, the city sprawling below us, and I tell him everything. The fear, the self-doubt, the moments when I almost gave up. He listens without interrupting, his hand warm in mine. When I finish, he pulls me into a tight hug. "You're stronger than you think," he says simply. And for the first time, I believe him. Rebuilding trust isn't just about mending personal relationships. It's also about repairing professional ones. Jake Monroe reaches out again, this time sincerely remorseful. He offers to collaborate on a charity project aimed at supporting underprivileged artists, a gesture that feels genuine rather than calculated. Though I'm hesitant, Diana encourages me to accept, reminding me that forgiveness can be a powerful tool. Working with Jake is awkward at first, but over time, we find a rhythm. Slowly, I begin to rebuild the bridges Elena tried so hard to burn. With the chaos finally dying down, Sophie and I plan a road trip to Joshua Tree National Park. It's something we've talked about doing for years, but never quite managed to make happen. As we drive through the desert, windows down and music blasting, I feel lighter than I have in months. The vast expanse of sand and sky reminds me how small my problems are in the grand scheme of things. One night, as we sit around a campfire roasting marshmallows, Sophie raises her cup of hot cocoa in a toast. "To chosen family," she declares, her eyes twinkling in the firelight. I clink my mug against hers, feeling an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the people who've stood by me, even when I push them away. Meanwhile, Liam moves in officially, his boxes stacked neatly in the corner of the living room. At first, sharing space feels strange after years of independence, but soon it becomes second nature. Waking up to him making coffee in the mornings, or finding him scribbling notes for his latest screenplay at the kitchen table, fills my days with a quiet kind of happiness I hadn't realized I was missing. Together, we create rituals, weekly movie nights, lazy Sunday brunches, that anchor us to each other and to the life we're building together. For the first time, I understand what it means to truly share your life with someone. As Eclipsing Shadows takes shape, I decide to take creative risks I might have avoided before. Inspired by my own experiences, I incorporate elements of raw vulnerability into the story, weaving threads of betrayal, forgiveness, and redemption throughout the narrative. The response from early test audiences is overwhelmingly positive, with many praising its authenticity and emotional depth. Encouraged by the feedback, I pitched the project to a major studio, and to my surprise, they greenlighted almost immediately. Suddenly, I'm not just an artist anymore. I'm a storyteller with a message worth sharing. Around the same time, I'm invited to speak at a conference for emerging filmmakers. Standing on stage, looking out at a sea of eager faces, I feel a surge of pride and responsibility. Success isn't about forgetting where you came from, I tell them, my voice steady despite the nerves fluttering in my chest. It's about using your platform to lift others up. Afterward, dozens of young creators approach me, asking for advice or simply thanking me for being honest about my struggles. Their enthusiasm reignites a spark within me, reminding me why I fell in love with art in the first place, because it has the power to heal, to connect, to transform. Months later, I receive a letter in the mail. It's from Elena, or rather, from the rehab facility where she's staying. She writes candidly about her addiction, her regrets, and her hope for a better future. "I know I hurt you in ways I can never undo," she admits, her handwriting shaky but sincere. But maybe someday you'll find it in your heart to forgive me, not for my sake, but for yours. Reading her words brings tears to my eyes, not because I feel ready to forgive her completely, but because I see glimpses of the sister I once loved buried beneath layers of pain and poor choices. I tuck the letter into a drawer, unsure if I'll respond, but knowing that keeping it is a step toward closure. Later that week, I visit Mom's grave again, this time bringing flowers. As I kneel beside the headstone, I whisper a promise to both of them. I won't let bitterness define me anymore. Whatever happens next, I'll face it with grace. The wind picks up, carrying the scent of wild sage, and for a moment, I swear I hear laughter, the kind that comes from shared joy, not unresolved pain. Maybe some wounds will always leave scars, but healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning to carry the past without letting it weigh you down. On a crisp autumn morning, I pack a bag and set out alone for a weekend getaway to Big Sur. The rugged coastline has always been one of my favorite places, a sanctuary where the ocean meets the mountains, where solitude feels sacred. I hike along the trails, breathing in the salty air and marveling at the way sunlight dances across the waves. At one point, I pause to sketch the view, my pencil moving instinctively across the page. For hours, I lose myself in the act of creation, letting the beauty of the world seep into my soul. That evening, as I sit by a bonfire watching the stars appear one by one, I reflect on how far I've come. A year ago, I was drowning in doubt and despair, convinced that my past would forever overshadow my future. Now, I see that every challenge, every heartbreak, has shaped me into the person I am today. I'm not perfect, I'll probably never be, but I'm enough. And sometimes, that's all that matters. As the flames flicker and fade, I feel a profound sense of peace settle over me. Whatever tomorrow holds, I know I'll face it with courage, and with the knowledge that I've already survived the hardest parts. The premiere of Eclipsing Shadows is nothing short of magical. Held at the historic TCL Chinese Theater in Hollywood, the event draws a crowd of industry insiders, critics, and fans alike. Walking down the red carpet in a sleek black gown, I feel like I'm stepping into a dream. Flashbulbs pop, reporters shout questions, and strangers congratulate me on what they're calling a masterpiece. But the real highlight comes when Sophie steps up to the microphone during the after-party to deliver a heartfelt speech. Maya taught me that resilience isn't about bouncing back. It's about growing stronger through the cracks, she says, raising her glass. Here's to breaking boundaries and building dreams. The room erupts in applause, and I can't help but tear up. This moment isn't just mine. It belongs to everyone who believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. Inspired by the film's themes of mentorship and community, I established the Heart Foundation, a scholarship program aimed at supporting young artists from underserved backgrounds. The initiative quickly gains traction, attracting donations from colleagues and admirers alike. Watching the first cohort of recipients present their work at a gallery opening fills me with a sense of fulfillment I've never experienced before. These kids, they remind me of myself at their age, full of passion and potential. Knowing I've played a role in nurturing that talent feels like leaving a piece of myself behind, a legacy that will outlast me. Local news outlets pick up the story, highlighting my journey from a struggling kid in Albuquerque to a celebrated artist giving back to her community. One interviewer asks me what advice I'd give to aspiring creators. Without hesitation, I reply, don't let anyone tell you your dreams are too big or too small. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And no matter how hard things get, keep creating. Because art saves lives, including your own. As the credits roll on Eclipsing Shadows, I slip out of the theater unnoticed and wander into the cool night air. Los Angeles glitters below me, a city built on dreams and reinvention. For so long, I thought success meant erasing my past, becoming someone new. But now I realize it's the opposite. True strength lies in embracing where you came from while forging a path forward. I think about Elena, Mom, Sophie, Liam, all the people who've shaped my journey in ways big and small. They're part of me, woven into the fabric of who I am. Standing there under the stars, I feel a deep sense of gratitude for the challenges that made me stronger, for the love that carried me through, and for the endless possibilities ahead. Whatever the future holds, I know I'll face it with open hands and an open heart. Because life isn't about avoiding storms, it's about learning to dance in the rain.